Thank you for tuning in to Gloves Off Seattle. Your hosts, Patti and Meagan, will be talking about all things Seattle women's hockey. A huge Pacific Northwest welcome to the PWHL. Gloves Off Seattle! Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.
Gloves Off Seattle.
Patti doesn't know what we're talking about today, guys.
Don't.
So this is going to be really fun because we talked about it. I know we talked about it.
We did, and it will come back.
It will come back, but this is the funny thing about this, and I don't know whether we said it on last week's podcast when we were just kind of riffing and said we had nothing to talk about. This is the way we have a former podcast that we did together, and like this is the way we started every single podcast where Patti would literally say,
What are we talking about?
"What are we talking about?" Like we could have literally just had the conversation, and then she would sit down and say it, and then it got to be just a thing. It was a joke, but like it was serious a couple of times where I'm like, we had literally just had this conversation. Now I will give her, we had not had the conversation about what we were talking about today.
It wasn't yesterday either.
Might have been yesterday.
No,
maybe it was
at
2 days
least the day
ago.
before.
Maybe it was 2 days ago. So someone on TikTok, and I'm not going to call out their username or anything like that, but made a suggestion. Is it coming back to you now?
A little bit.
Okay, made a suggestion.
Oh, yeah,
Made a suggestion, which I actually really like because not that there's not things going on in the league, because there are things going on in the league that we could talk about, and I guess we could still talk about them. But I think that it was a really good suggestion because of kind of our whole take on hockey. And so the whole take is that because I am a new hockey fan, the way that I got into and learned about hockey was going to hockey games with Patti. And so she would literally sit there and tell me what was happening when I had no idea what was happening on the ice. And so what this person suggested was, can we give some information? I know we've talked a little bit like tips and tricks,
Here
like,
and there, yeah.
I know Patty's like big tip is like follow the goalie's gaze, because then you can see where the puck is, because the goalie's always looking at the puck. But there are other things I think that we can talk through. And there's another account, it's called Hockey for Gals, that actually just came upon this week. And they've got some cool, like, just like primer slides about like, just the rules and that sort of thing. So not even talking about like PWHL specific, but just like hockey in general. So if you're a new hockey fan, if you're new to hockey, you know nothing about hockey, this is the episode for you.
Which is really the people we're trying to talk to, right? We want to get fans into it. And if that's new fans, then that's what we need to get into it. And that's the hardest part about becoming a hockey fan, is not knowing anything about the rules, not knowing anything about what's going on. You can't, it's not impossible because I did it.
Right.
But that was a long time ago, and we're just trying to make it easier for anyone who's trying to get into hockey to
Well, we don't want to
understand.
we don't feel like this should be a gate kept sport, and especially women's hockey, because it's we have found such an amazing community. So we're gonna give a pre-shout out. We had a conversation about furniture and bringing and doing a new podcasting studio, and one of our listeners, B, she's literally giving us a chair, guys.
Thank you, B.
Thank you, B. We're gonna go get it tomorrow. So this will have come out, and this will all have happened by the time, because it's Friday, and we'll release this on Monday. But just this community is amazing, and I just don't want anybody to feel like they can't enter into it because they don't understand. I mean, I'm sure if had I been on the outside and not had a Patti,
How would you have gotten into hockey?
I wouldn't have.
You've
I would never have.
gotten
I
into
would
hockey.
never have gotten into hockey.
You're
Never
welcome.
ever.
You're
I lived
welcome.
here. Yeah, you're welcome, universe. No, I mean I lived here for how long? And there was accessible hockey. I mean, like
They used to play hockey in the Tacoma Dome.
they did, but that was before my time. But
Okay, it
anyway,
was
but like the
before your
T-Birds, like literally, like that's super accessible hockey. I knew about them. I knew about the Kraken and all that, and I never went to a game. So anyway, all that to say, I would not have gotten into hockey, had we not met, had we not, obviously gotten married. No, I'm forced. I'm just kidding. I'm not forced.
I force her. Drag
I
her.
enjoy it. I enjoy hockey. So I think we should like just like break it down. Are you okay? Are you bleeding?
I am.
Patty's, what are you biting your
I
cuticles?
picked my
Yeah, she's picking her cuticles now. She's bleeding. Okay, so a little,
little insight into
into our
Patty.
lives. So I think we should start from the very, very beginning, because I think that, like I said, if you're new to hockey, we let's just get basic. Let's get super basic. So there are two teams on the ice. at a time, which would be really interesting if there was more, but there's not.
Ooh, three-team hockey? Would you have three
Anyway,
nets?
yes, of course
Would
you'd
it be
have to have three.
triangular?
Yes, you would have to. Anyway,
That would
let's
be hard
not.
as
Okay,
Zamboni.
so two teams on the ice at a time. Tell us about the players and who's on the ice. Who is on the ice in just regulation play. Don't like go into
Okay,
special.
so regulation play, there's 5-on-5. So you have the two goaltenders, obviously. So when you're in goal, that's your defensive zone. You're defending the goal as your home. You protect it like it's Fort Knox. Okay, so you have the two goalies, then you have five players on each team.
Right. So when they talk about, so I'm going to interrupt and do some Uber explanation for those that aren't hockey fans that might have to understand this a little bit more. So when they talk about 5-on-5, 4-on-5, 3-on-5, whatever they're
It's
those.
5-on-3. You don't
Oh,
really say three
okay.
on
So
five. It's
exactly,
5-on-5.
I'm getting corrected
Yeah.
already. But anyway, when they're talking about those numbers, they're talking about the skaters.
Mhm.
That doesn't have to do with the goalies. Like the goalies are not put into that equation when we're talking about when people are saying those numbers, 5-on-5.
The
That
goalie's
means
always on the ice. Even if they commit a penalty, they're not going off the ice. Someone's serving the penalty for them. So the goalies always stay on the ice.
unless the goalies come off the ice, which is a
Well,
whole other
when you're talking about
scenario.
regulation, you're talking
Okay.
about starting. We're
Okay.
talking about the last
Okay.
minute of the play or
Okay.
last five
Okay.
minutes of the play,
Okay.
depending on who you are.
That's true. Okay. So anyway, so the goalie for the most part is always on the ice during regulation play. Yes. And so in normal play, there's five players on each side, which is so like break that down even more. What are the five players?
So there's three forwards that are pushing forward. So they go forward and they try to score on the other goalie. So those are three forwards, and there's two defenders. The defenders are defending the home, defending their goal. And sometimes the defenders go forward too, and they try to, you have offensive defenders, you have defensive forwards, you have both sides of it. But it's really three forwards. There's two wingers, the left winger, the right winger, and the centerman. Center?
Center.
Center. The center takes the face off usually. Sometimes they get tossed out of the face off circle for random events that happen. And then
Okay, so let's talk
usually,
about this because now I'm really interested. So, okay, so normally there's let's go back positioning. Left wing, right wing, center, and then normally there is left and right defense.
yes.
Right. Okay. So those are the positions, the positioning of the five players. So then you talked about let's talk about play. So you talked about the face off. So you're talking about like the center ice face off, the beginning of the game face off or beginning of the period
Beginning
face
of the
off.
game, beginning of the period, the face off is at the center ice, which is the red line. The red line cuts the ice into two halves. There's the defensive and the offensive. So the red line is in the middle. Then there's two blue lines which mark the zones, the defensive zones or offensive zones, depending on which way you're
Right.
going. So the face-off is at center ice. There's a dot in the middle of the red line, and it's funny because the red line has demarcations on it usually because in the olden days, not my olden days. Okay, I don't go this far back. The TVs were black and white, and so they couldn't tell the blue line from the red line because it was just a colored line on the ice. So
They were
the red
playing
line,
hockey in black and white TV.
yes, yes. So the red line had like dots on it or dashes or something that so you could see the difference between the red lines and
Oh.
the red line and the blue
Blue line.
lines. Yeah. So and in when hockey first started, okay, the linesmen were supposed to put the puck down on the ice and the players were supposed to go for it, okay? Until one guy got smart enough, was like, dude, I'm not going down there. There you go. And they threw the puck down on the ice, and that's how they now do face-off.
So, right. So they drop the puck. So a lot of times people will say puck drop, like when they're talking about the start of the game or the start of the
Tip-off.
season.
It's like the
The
tip
tip
off.
off. It's
Puck
called
drop.
puck drop. So it is a linesman that's not a ref. It's not a ref.
Um,
Wait, so let's talk about that because that's another thing I'm confused about always.
okay.
There are normally, is it three or four?
There's four. There's
Okay,
two
so there's
linesmen, there's two referees.
okay, so the people in the black and white striped jersey.
We call them zebras.
There are two positions, different positions. One is referee and one is linesman. So
Yes.
explain the difference in those.
Well, the referees call most of the penalties. They call most of the penalties. Those are ones with the colored stripe around their
That's how you know.
forearms. Yeah.
Okay, now I know.
Yes. Those are the referees. There's two of them.
I think
One
at the
stays-
PWHL it's purple too,
It
if
might
I
be.
remember.
It
I
might
think
be
so
purple.
from the game that we attended.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's purple.
So yeah, those are the referees, and then the lines. I don't want to say
People,
line. Yeah,
line people.
line people, lines, the line.
Line
We'll
line
talk
people.
about that.
They're still people, if
They
men or
are
women,
people.
they're people.
They are people. They call offsides, icing. Do refs call icing? I don't know.
You were supposed to be the authority.
I am not the authority. I never pretended to be the authority. I know a little more than the layman, I guess, but I am in no sense of the word am I the authority. So, but definitely line people called offside, and
Which we'll get into
icing.
that. We'll get into offside and
Yeah.
icing because that's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
nother thing.
And the one penalty that lines people do call is the delay of game. So that's when the puck goes out over the net, over the ice. I'm
Over the
sorry,
glass.
over the glass, because you have to keep the puck in the glass, which I just saw a TikTok the other day. I know, shocking. But they called ice hockey boy aquarium. Obviously,
Oh
they're
yeah.
talking about,
We're girl
yeah,
aquarium.
we're girl
We
aquarium.
go to the girl
We
aquarium.
love the girl
We don't go to the
aquarium.
boy
Okay,
aquarium.
why would I watch the boy aquarium for so
Actually, the
long?
ducks. You
As a
would. Yeah.
lesbian, I
Yes.
did, but
Very
I did.
strange.
It's very
Very
strange.
strange.
And we won't talk about that. How many men love to watch
Boy, yeah, the
men
boy
aquarium?
aquarium.
Yeah, we won't. So, yeah, so it has to stay inside the aquarium.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so so back to this. So five skaters, one goalie on each team, and four officiants,
Officials,
officials, two referees, two linesmen. Okay, so that's who's and
line
lines
people,
people. Thank you. So the
clothesliners. I
close
don't know. What are we gonna call them?
lines people.
Okay.
So the puck drop at the beginning of the game and periods, well, it's the same. The beginning of each period, they drop the puck at center ice. So that's the start of each game. So this is the other thing I want to talk about because people might be going to their first game, like buying tickets to see the team that they want to see for the first game, which I think this is really important because I didn't know this when I started watching hockey. They switch sides every period.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, you typically, unless you really just like to watch defense, which some people do, if you want to watch more offense, you want to sit on the side that your team's going to shoot at twice. So most arenas when you're looking at the map of the arena on the the website that you're buying tickets on,
They'll tell
it
you.
will say what side the home team
Shoots
shoots twice
twice.
on. So if you're going to see the home team, obviously that's the side you want to sit on. But if you're going to see the away team, which when we go see the Ducks play the bad K word, we sit on the other side because we want to see the Ducks offense. So we'll sit on that side. So that's just, I mean, again, like it was a piece of knowledge I had no idea. I didn't realize that they switch sides. They switch directions every period. So
Because you
there's
play
wait. There's three periods. People may not know. There's three periods in a hockey
three
game.
periods of 20 minutes each. So
Yeah,
it's a 60-minute game, three periods of 20 minutes each,
with 18-minute
with
intermission.
18-minute intermissions, because you have to resurface the ice because the ice, it gets pretty crunchy.
Yeah.
Gets
And in
very
order to have
snowy.
entertainment and the Zamboni, 18
Mhm.
minutes is an appropriate amount of
Mhm.
time.
And the Zamboni, okay, now we're getting deep. The Zamboni, which is the machine that resurfaces the ice, it cuts off a layer of the ice and melts it, and then throws down liquid on top of the ice, and then it freezes. Okay, it seems like it's a very Canadian thing, right? It was made for
I
hockey,
have no idea.
ice
It
rinks,
sounds
hockey,
Italian
whatever.
to me.
Okay, but yeah, but that's his name. Where do you think the Zamboni was invented?
Italy. I don't know. Of
Paramount, California, okay, which is like LA, like
course.
South
Of
Central
course, there's
LA.
a Southern
Yeah.
California connection,
Yeah, I
guys.
took because when I was teaching in Southern California, I was teaching in Paramount School District, and one of my classes, we took a trip to the ice rink, the actual ice rink where the Zamboni was invented, and there's a statue out in front. It's very cool, and I was into hockey obviously at the time, and I enjoyed it much more than my students did. Coming from South Central LA, they had no idea what hockey was.
They were like, why
Yeah,
are we here?
most of them didn't even know there was an ice skating rink in their neighborhood, and it was in their neighborhood. We walked there.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
That's the first time I've ever heard that story,
Yeah,
guys.
there you go. You heard it here.
I did. Okay. Paramount, California is where the Zamboni was created. That's awesome. Brian, you don't have to look that up because we have that piece of
Maybe
information.
Brian didn't know that.
I'm almost positive Brian knew
Okay.
that, so I would be surprised if he didn't. Okay. So we talked about generalities of the game and the game, how so anyway, played in three periods, of 20 minutes each. So obviously the goal is of the game is to score more goals than the other team. I mean, that's probably pretty obvious, not trying to mansplain this out to anybody, but there's really unless it goes into overtime, unless I'm wrong and you can correct me, there's only really one way to score a goal. I mean, I guess there's always only one way to score a goal, but normally it's just like you're skating around and you're shooting the puck. And what I was getting at is that if regulation ends in a tie, then you go to overtime, and then in a regular season game, after if overtime is played and you're still tied, you go to a shootout, which is a little bit different.
It is a
But
little bit different, but it is to score goals. And it's funny because I'm just thinking about that. And the way to score a goal is you shoot the puck in with your stick.
oh
You
yeah,
cannot kick the puck in. You can direct your skate. Like if Megan is shooting, like say the goal is right over there where my laptop
okay.
is.
Remember, some people listen to this
Okay.
can't see where you're
Okay, but
pointing at.
let's say Megan's on the side of the goal and I'm standing in front of the goal. Standing, skating, whatever, and she shoots the puck. I can just hold my skate still and deflect the puck in off my skate, but I cannot forward motion kick
The
the
puck
puck into
in.
the net. That is not allowed. And I cannot bat the puck into the net with my
So if it
hands.
comes off of anything but a stick origination, then it's not.
Or a skate. It can deflect
No,
off
I'm
a
saying,
skate.
but originating off of a stick,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
then
Yeah, I
then
guess
what? Then
the
what do they?
final.
What happens?
It's no goal.
They just say no
They
goal.
just say no goal.
Okay.
And also, your stick has to be below the level of the crossbar, which made it all one time. When I started watching
Wait.
hockey,
What about the Michigan?
okay, the Michigander is very good. The Michigander,
Wait.
you
Explain
should.
to people what the
Okay, well,
Michigander
the
is.
Michigander, I guess it happened in the University of Michigan. I don't know. Somewhere in Michigan it happened where a hot dog, which is a really, a
Yeah.
hockey player who has a lot of tricks, like lacrosse styled the puck onto their stick, which a lot of players do that now,
Yeah.
and like came from behind the net with their
So
puck
for
on the
those that don't
stick
know lacrosse either, because like let's not get into more sports metaphors. Like literally scoops the puck
onto
onto their
their
stick
stick
and like
and is
holds,
holding it
yeah, holds their stick out on, on the level so that they can have the puck like laying
on top of
on their
their
chalk
stick.
stick. Okay, go
And
on.
then they take their stick around, like they're usually behind the net, sometimes to the side of the net, but usually behind the net. And they take their stick and with the puck on it, and they come around and they deposit it into the goal. So they're not shooting it; they're just
But that's
like
legal. You can do
it's
that.
legal because well, you have to keep your stick below the crossbar.
That's interesting. I didn't know that
Yeah,
rule.
and
What do they
it's
call it if you don't have your stick
high
in?
sticking. You cannot hit it when in off a high stick.
Okay.
Okay, which obviously it's not high sticking where you're gonna hack someone. High
We,
sticking
we
is a
gotta we gotta
penalty,
we'll
which
have to talk
that would
about
be yeah.
we gotta talk about penalties.
Today, are we gonna talk about penalties
Yeah,
today? Okay,
maybe.
this might be long, but it's funny because back in the day, my day, the puck had to or the your stick couldn't be higher than your shoulders. And so it was arbitrary. Like if you were 5'3", like some of our players are, your shoulder's a lot lower than someone who's 5'11", which we have players who are. And so it was just arbitrary. So then they decided, you know what, that's too arbitrary. You can't see it on the replay. You can't see the refs got to look, well, how tall is that person? Where was their stick? So now it's the crossbar. You cannot shoot the puck in off your stick higher than the crossbar. So you can shoot it out of midair. And some people do that. It comes up and they see it, baseball style and bat it in their stick. As long as your stick is below the crossbar, you're okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, like how deep are we going to get into this? That's the real
Yeah.
question. Let's talk
Just
about penalties in general because I think that that's the other thing that really trips people up. I think like people, I mean, scoring goals is obvious. Like people are like, that's the goal to score the goals. And there, obviously there's rules like we just talked about around how you can score a goal, but um, you know, anyway, but let's talk about penalties because I think that's the thing that really confuses people is that penalties get called in if you're live watching a game, which is the best way to watch hockey is to see
that's
it in
right.
person.
So good.
You're not listening like on TV where the commentators will tell you what's being called. So you
And
just
even if you are, it's not in sync. So it's never the same. I mean, some people try. I tried, but you can't.
anyway. So but long story short, it's harder in person, so it's really nice to have somebody that understands what's going on. So let's talk about penalties. So let's talk about before we get into like let's talk about icing and
I
offsides.
was going to say because there's two different kind of penalties, and the two main ones that you said are
Yeah.
not because there's penalties where it's just a stoppage of play penalty, which I guess is kind of like a baby penalty. So it just means that
We're gonna call it a baby
we're
penalty.
gonna whistle it dead, and we're gonna have a face off because you broke the rules, but you didn't break a big rule. You just broke a little
Little rule, a
rule.
baby rule.
Yeah.
So okay, so offside. We're gonna talk about offsides and we're gonna talk about icing because I think these are the two that get called the most and are the most confusing out of all of hockey ever.
Well, because soccer, I mean, and to soccer fans, offside is confusing to players, to people who don't know it, because you don't, the line is not the same. It's just the line of offense. You
Yeah.
cannot shoot the ball. I don't know. I don't do hockey. I don't do soccer,
Soccer.
right?
Let's not talk about soccer because that's going to make it confusing. Let's talk
Okay,
about
but
hockey.
it's along the same lines. But in hockey, it's a rigid line. It's the blue line. Okay, so the blue line denotes the offensive zone. So if your offense is going into your offensive zone, the puck has to cross the blue line first before
Before
any offensive
player.
player. Before any offensive players, of course, the
Right,
defense on the other
right.
team can be back there defending wherever they want, but the offensive players the puck has to go in
So,
first. I mean, there's
so
subtleties there, but the puck generally has to go in first.
So basically, generally the three forwards are moving forward in front of everybody else of the team that's going on the offense.
Mhm.
And so none of those three can cross the blue line prior to the puck.
Both skates. One skate can be in there. You can be straddling the line.
Oh, that's funny. And
Yeah,
see, and this is a hard one to see, guys, because the play moves really fast. And so I think
fast.
this is one of those things that you have to just like after, watching many games, you'll see it. Because like I didn't realize the straddling thing was okay too. But now I'm gonna watch for that now that I know that.
There's even
So,
a subtler play there. Because
which is what?
there's a rule where if you are in control of the puck, as long as you are in control of the puck, you can be in the offensive zone before the puck is. I haven't seen that in a long
So like
time,
if you're
but
skating backwards
if you're
and
skating backwards and you have control of the puck, you can go into the offensive zone with with the puck on your stick.
Hmm,
And that won't be offside.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's offsides is that the offensive players cannot cross the blue line prior to the puck crossing the blue line as a general rule. We'll just say
Right.
that as a general rule.
Right. And so once the puck goes in, now all
Everybody
the
can go
players can go in the zone
anywhere and
anywhere.
then it doesn't matter. It's
And then
not
it
like
doesn't matter.
it's not like soccer where you have to stay behind the ball because I think that is the rule in
I don't
soccer. I
know.
think that is the
Yeah, I
rule in
don't know.
soccer.
Brian will tell us.
Yeah, there is a rule about staying behind the ball. And I think it's until you cross a certain point. Anyway,
I
whatever.
don't know.
Well, let's not make the way.
But in hockey, that point is the blue
The
line.
blue
So
line.
once it goes into the blue line, now this is really kind of subtle because the blue line's like, I don't know, 3 inches wide. Okay, so the offensive zone is when the puck is entirely across the blue line. Then the players can go in. So now once it's in, to come out, it's got to be all the way out across there. So it's like 3 inches longer. Once you get it in, now you have 3 more inches to play with because it can come to the line as long as it doesn't go all the way out and there's white between the blue and the outside, then you can game. But as soon as the puck comes out, everybody's
Everybody's
got
got
to
to
come
come
out.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have so many questions, but I feel like it's going to get too complicated if I ask them. So
This could go on.
I know. Well, let's not.
So,
We could do another episode, but let's talk about icing next because I
okay.
think icing is another one that you're like, what is going on? What are
Yeah.
they
I think
calling?
icing is a little more confusing to new fans than offside.
Yes.
If you didn't see, Megan just looked like a deer in
I
headlights.
don't know. I just still am like, why is that icing? Like, I'm always
And
like,
but there's a lot
why
of
is that
different things
icing?
that can negate icing
Yeah.
and that have to happen to make icing an actual thing. And before, I mean, I don't even want to talk about how it's changed over the years, and it has changed. And the NHL has implemented rules, but it's very slow. Jailbreak rule. So, icing
Yes.
is okay. So you want to get the puck down by the other person's goalie. Okay, that's the key in hockey. You want to get down there by the other person's goal so you can get in there and try to get the puck in the net. Okay. So icing, you have to you cannot pass the puck longer than from center ice. So you have to be past center ice to get the puck all the way down. So if you're on your side of center ice and you hit the puck down and you're not like your none of your stick touches the center ice and you shoot the puck down, then if it goes all the way down past the goal line, which is the whole line across the bottom half of the rink where the goal is, where the pegs are, the crossbar,
Right.
okay? If it goes all the way down past there and the other team touches it first or has a chance to touch it first or is probably going to touch it first because that's changed over the years too, then that's icing and it goes all the way back down to in front of the other goalie.
So the whole point of this is so they have to be
It's fairness. It's
so
a
right,
fairness
but they
rule.
have to be behind the blue line. So if they're
Center ice.
behind center
Yeah.
ice, anywhere from
Well, not behind. If you're behind center ice, you cannot throw the puck down.
okay.
And they call it icing because it goes across the
All
entire
the way,
ice.
all the ice,
And
right?
it
And they do it. the reason why they do it is because most of the time it's because they need to do a line change,
Yeah,
right?
because you're down there, you're defending, and you're tired, you're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Let's just throw the puck down. Let's throw the puck down the ice. Oh, let's kill the mic. Let's throw the puck down the ice and we can change. Okay. Well, that's and so they've changed that now because if you ice it, you cannot change. If it's iced, if you've iced the puck and it's all the conditions are met and it's called icing, it goes back down in front of your
And all the
goalie
fit,
and you
yeah.
have to stay out on the ice.
So
You cannot change.
we did not talk about this. So the players generally typically play, I don't know, like 2 minutes or less.
Oh no, 2 minutes is way
Long
long. About a
time.
minute.
Minute.
About a
Okay.
minute.
I guess
45 to a
minute.
minute.
Okay.
It's
So
hard. It's hard to work to play
no, no,
hockey.
no, no, 100%. So like they're changing up and they normally
Overtime
change
on the fly.
full lines. Like they, right? Like they don't normally change
Mm,
one player at a time.
sometimes one player, but usually it's the forwards change. Like
Right.
if the puck's down and the defense are handling it, the forwards will change. If the forwards are handling it and they're going down to the net, then the defense might change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the other thing is that there are multiple line that they call them lines. There are multiple lines that
We
on
don't
a
even want to
team.
talk about the two-line pass. It isn't a thing anymore, but it used to be a thing. You used to be able to not
Okay.
even pass the puck across two lines, and they would whistle that dead.
Okay. So
They
that
don't
let's
do
not
that
talk about
anymore.
that because that's gonna I'm already
Yeah,
confused
I
talking
got
about
old
it.
rules, new rules.
Anyway, so the long story short is that they're constantly changing the players out. So the one thing that I really enjoyed when we went to Rogers Arena, have I talked about it on here?
What?
You don't? Okay. So what I really enjoyed when that we went to Rogers Arena is they had the playtime of the players on the Jumbotron.
Oh, you're talking about in Vancouver. That's Rogers Arena.
That's the Rogers Arena that
Yes.
I would be
Right.
speaking of.
Well, I'm like, I don't know. So yeah, the Jumbotron in Vancouver is amazing.
So
It's like a commentator. It really is.
So the whole thing is when you watch a game on TV, they typically the broadcast will have how long the player's been on the ice along the bottom, and that helps me because I'm like number one, who's on the ice. I sometimes need help there, but number two, it shows me how long they've been on the ice, and then I know when it's like a minute or so, I'm like, oh, they're not going to be on the ice for that much longer because that's generally like the max they max out, and so it was really cool when we were at Rogers Arena. We saw the Canucks play the Ducks. That they show it on the jumbotron. So interestingly enough, I haven't seen a PWHL broadcast that has player times like on like listed.
I
So
don't remember. It's been a
no,
while.
it's
I mean,
there.
the only
There
one we
hasn't
saw was
been
the takeaway tour. The
in person. I'm talking about the
Yes.
broadcast.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't
they haven't.
remember it.
No, they
Mm-mm.
don't have it on the
Yeah.
broadcast. So
There's a lot.
anyway,
It's okay. Shut up.
anyway, yeah. So long story short, that is it's something also to know is that they are constantly changing out. So the goalie is generally there the entire game. Very, very rarely will they change out a goalie unless a goalie gets hurt in the
Hmm.
middle of a game. So
Hmm.
goalies
Or
normally,
unless they're doing really
well,
bad.
I mean, obviously, if something is really wrong, they're going to change it out. But for the most part, the goalie stays in for the entire game. But all the rest of the players are constantly changing, and so then we'll say that, but then let's get into the bigger penalties, which can cause penalty box time, which can cause
You go
power
to the box,
play. Yeah,
you feel
the
shame.
boo boo box, that what the whole bad girl brownie thing came from. She was in the
We love
penalty
your shirt,
box. Yes,
Brownie.
we love that shirt. For those that listen to the podcast, you'll know what we're talking about. That was a picture of her in the penalty box. So let's talk about the penalties that can send a play. So these are just those two penalties just stop play. You
And
go, you
reposition. Some people can
reposition, and
change,
then
some
there's a
people
face
can't
off,
change. Yeah, and
right?
there's a face
And
off.
then there's a face off.
Yes.
So
Icing, offside.
is there
Yeah.
any
If
other face off
um well, I mean,
penalties?
if the puck goes out of play,
Yeah.
that it's not shot directly out of play because that's a penalty. If you shoot the puck over the aquarium and there without it touching the glass, then that's a penalty. That's a
But that's
shame
just
penalty.
but that's just a resetting
Yeah,
and
if it's
then
deflected out or
okay.
yeah, then
Then
that's
it's just
just a
reset
face off.
just a face
Stoppage
off.
of play.
Stoppage of play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a
So
lot of penalties that you go in the penalty box. There's a lot.
okay, so like so yeah, so let's in general, maybe we won't go through every single one, but let's talk about the what can cause a player to have to spend time in the penalty box.
And this, I know Megan hasn't seen Slapshot, which you have to see. We have to watch Slapshot.
Okay.
There's one scene in there where the Russian maybe goalie's talking about it. It's like, okay, so there's high sticking, and he hits the commentator with this high stick where you hit above the waist with your stick. High
Okay.
sticking penalty.
Wait. How long?
2
2 minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
Well, unless you bleed. If you're bleeding, then it's 4 minutes. And if
In
it's
the
malicious, it'll
NHL.
be 5
Okay,
minutes.
so let's talk about this. These are NHL rules that we're talking about right now because I believe that there is a big difference in, especially in anything involving the
The
head
head in the
in the
PWHL.
PWHL will get you it's an automatic 5 minute
Yeah, and
penalty.
game misconduct, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you any shot to the head,
So,
any
but
check
right,
to the head, any stick to the
okay,
head,
but what we're talking about right now, just so
like a
everybody
regular
knows,
high
like
sticking.
let's talk about like NHL rules. I mean, what like unless we know the PWHL rules, we're going to be basically talking generalities and NHL rules. Okay,
Yes.
so high sticking means a stick above the waist.
Stick above the waist. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And then
and so
slashing,
that's 2 minutes, 2 minute penalty.
it's
So
2 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes.
so that takes a player off the ice for the team, and then we go into what we call a power play, which is the team has to play with one player down.
5-on-4.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Okay, go on. What else? I know we
Okay.
are talking about.
Okay, so then there's slashing, which is when you use in a slashing motion your stick on any part of the other person's body, their hands, their feet, their legs. Tripping, when you use your stick to trip somebody, or your stick is on the ground and somebody trips over it, which sometimes I think it's ridiculous that they call it tripping. It's like the stick is there, you stepped on it. It's not really a trip, but okay. So tripping, slashing, high sticking. There's cross checking, which is when both your hands on a stick and you shove it into their body. That's cross checking. Um, if you get thrown out of the penalty box twice, or I'm sorry, you get thrown out of the face-off circle twice, that's also a penalty.
What? Oh, I've
Yeah.
never seen that
It doesn't
happen.
happen very often. I think I've only ever seen it like once or twice. So yeah, that's a penalty.
So wait, wait. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I
I
know.
hear
I feel
nothing.
like I yeah, I feel like we need to do a little more explanation on this. So
Mm.
so sometimes when a face-off is happening, there's two players that go up to,
The face-off
the
dot,
face-off dot, and then the
lines
linesman
person.
drops the puck. Okay. So for whatever reason, and I know we've talked about this before, so I can talk about it a little bit. It's like the lines person feels like somebody's like too far in or not where they're supposed to
You
be,
go over, there's a
or
plane in
they're
between. You can't go across
yeah,
that
or they're
plane, or
like
they come in quick.
skate or
Yeah.
something
I
they
think
don't
even if you kick the puck now,
yeah.
that's a violation.
They're not okay with what you're doing. They'll boot
Throw you
you.
out.
They'll say no, but then somebody else has to come in.
Hmm.
So how would you get thrown out twice?
Okay, well, the team. So you got kicked out. Now the second guy comes in. If the second guy gets kicked out, then somebody goes to the box.
Okay, I've never seen that happen
Yeah.
before.
It doesn't happen very often, but I believe that's still a penalty.
Interesting. Okay,
Okay,
well Brian, let us know
thanks,
if we're
Brian.
right. If we're
Thanks
right
in
or if we're
advance.
wrong.
So then
Yeah.
there's hooking, which the hook of the stick. If you use your stick and pull it,
Okay.
okay, that's hooking. Um,
And again, these are all 2 minute
these
penalties.
are all 2 minute penalties. Yeah. Um, gosh, there's a lot more.
Okay, we don't have to go through all of them. So
Yeah.
then we can upgrade to what's a 5 minute penalty because
Okay. A 5 minute. Well, let's talk about a double minor first, because a four
oh
minute
yeah.
penalty. These are very different things. So you
So
go a
minor
4 minute,
versus major,
a
is that
minor, double minor, and a major.
okay?
Okay, so a minor, you go to the box for 2 minutes. If the other team scores, then you come out of the box, however long it takes. So if you're in there for 5 seconds and the other team scores, you come out, and it was a power play goal and it's over. Okay, so if you're in a double minor, that's a 4 minute penalty. That's
Okay.
two 2 minute penalties. Okay, you think of them as, because
Two
they're
plus
very,
two is four.
no, but they're very separate. It's very distinct, the 2 minutes, because what happens is if you're in the box for 4 minutes and now they skate around 10 seconds, they score, you come out of you don't come out of the box, but it goes down to
To
two
two
minutes.
minutes.
So the
Okay, so
first two
you
minutes
serve
is,
the second
yeah,
2 minutes. You
then
don't
you
get
serve the
out of the
second two
second
minutes.
2 minutes.
So
Okay,
if
that
you're in
makes
the
sense.
box for 4 minutes and they're skating
So
around
what's
the
a double
skater,
minor?
you're in the box for 4 minutes.
No, how
Oh,
would you get
well,
in the box
that's
for?
high sticking if there's blood. Like I high
Okay,
sticked you and you're bleeding, that's a
okay,
4 minute,
okay.
automatic 4 minute. And there's other ways to get a 4 minute major or a 4 minute minor, but there's also consecutive, that's not the right one. But say we're in a scrum, right? And you hook me and and you hook me and your teammate cross checks him.
Right,
So that's 2 minutes. You're both going to go to the box for 2 minutes.
right.
And that's not, and that,
I have seen that before.
yeah. Sometimes that's even 5-on-3. Well, it is 5-on-3 because
Yeah,
you got
five
two
on
guys in
three.
the box, but
Yeah.
that's not really like a double minor.
Well,
Double minor, one
sometimes
guy's in the box for 4 minutes, not two guys for 2 minutes each.
right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when they're in these scuffles and these people starts getting thrown in the penalty box, it's both teams. That's what we've seen. I mean, that's what I've seen a lot of. It's
But then
like
sometimes I don't understand that, because sometimes if one team, if one person goes off at the same time, like one person from the team A, one person from team B, sometimes it goes to 4-on-4 right away.
Yeah.
Other times they keep it at 5-on-5. And I'm not sure what the arbitrary thing is there to keep it 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. I don't
Hmm.
know a lot of these officiating things.
Hmm. Okay,
So.
so now so the double minor, which is 4 minutes, we talked about that.
Yes, now
Now
the
let's talk about a major.
major. So a major is a gross misconduct, like cross-checking, which not cross-checking, boarding, which is a penalty I didn't talk about. So that's when somebody is facing the boards, like their sweater is
So
facing the
the boards
boards.
is the bottom part
The
of the
aquarium,
glass.
glass aquarium. Yes. So you're facing the boards and somebody checks you into the boards where you could, like, if your head goes in first,
You could
people have
get
been
hurt.
paralyzed. It's
Yeah.
it's been really bad, and they crack down on that in the PWHL, which I love. So, but that's boarding, and if it's intentional and if it's malicious, you could get a 5-minute boarding call. You get a 5-minute high sticking if it's malicious. Um,
So that's
there's also
the referee has to make that determination of whether it's
there's
malicious, which it
played
looks.
now too. Like if they
I
call
know,
if
but
they
how
call
do you?
malicious like high sticking, a lot of times it's reviewed to make
But
sure.
how do you? That seems like that's
It's
subjective.
still it's subjective. I'm
Like
not gonna
whether it
say
was
it's still.
malicious or not, because
Yeah.
they're going to be like, he looked like he was angry.
I haven't read the rule book, but I'm sure there's stipulations for all of that.
Okay.
Okay. But here's the thing. If you go to the box for a 5-minute major, you're in the box for 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if the team scores once or zero or 5 times. You're in the box for the whole 5 minutes, even in the PWHL with the jailbreak rule, one of my favorites. You are in the box for 5 minutes.
Right. So that is the difference between the NHL and a PWHL is when that we have and we've talked about this on the podcast, is that when you are shorthanded, so like you are the team that has one less player, if your team scores a goal during the power play, then your player gets to come out of the box,
It's
which,
amazing.
yeah, they don't have that in the NHL. It's just a shorthanded goal, which is still, I mean, that gets,
I
doesn't it
mean,
get counted differently?
no, no, no. Well, I mean, there's plus and minuses, and we haven't even talked about
Yeah,
the plus and
we are
minuses
not
yet.
talking about that
Yeah.
today.
But it's a huge momentum. Like if you're on the power play and they don't score a power play goal, but you got a shorthanded goal, all the momentum's
Yeah,
on your side. So it's huge in
yeah,
that, but there's no reward like a jailbreak rule in the
yeah,
PWHL. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 minute major.
5-minute major, you're
And
in the box
then
for five
and
minutes.
then
Oh,
if
also with fighting, but that's not PWHL, I don't think.
oh,
It's another way to get a major.
I'm sure they would get major if they were fighting.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like in the NHL, like if you and I want to fight, okay, you drop your gloves, I drop my gloves. I'm like, okay, let's go for it. You give me one? You gonna give me one? Okay, let's go. We drop our gloves. Now we're fighting.
Okay.
Okay, so that's we both go out for 5 minutes. You
Right.
were naughty. Go take a timeout.
Go to the boo boo box.
Go to your room and think about it. Okay, but now say you just cross-checked my star player and I want to kick your ass. I'm going to pull you to me. I don't care if you drop your gloves. I don't care if you want to fight me. I'm going to beat the shit the tar out of you.
This is not a show for kids, guys.
Yes. And then I would get a 5-minute what do they call that? Oh gosh, my mind just went blank.
Misconduct?
It
Game
is a
misconduct.
misconduct, but there's a specific name and it's going to drive me crazy. It'll come to me later.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just no, it's gonna bother me.
Okay.
Ryan will help me out. But yeah, that's bad.
Okay, so this is the last thing we're going to talk about because we talked about so much on this episode
Yeah.
that I'm sure newbies' minds are reeling. My mind is reeling. There's been a lot. So this is one of the most ridiculous things in hockey for me. I want to talk about that game that we saw where it literally ended in the hugest fight, and the game ended like everyone fighting,
They
and
called it.
they stopped the game at 30 seconds. They didn't even finish playing.
Yeah.
They did not finish playing because it was so much mayhem. And this was a T-Birds game. I
Hmm.
mean, the WHL is a little
Yeah.
rowdy. So anyway,
They're kids.
so let's talk about that. Like what happens when they're all out on the ice fighting one another, which
It-
hardly I can't
okay.
even imagine the PWHL doing this, but like what would happen if everybody's out on the ice fighting?
Okay, well, everybody can't come out on the ice
Right,
fighting.
okay, that's true
So
because they
everybody
can't
who's on the ice can
right
fight,
because they
all
can't come
10
off they
players.
can't
Could
come
be
off the
12.
bench.
Goalies have been known to go at each
Wait,
other
but they
in
can't
the NHL.
take a breath. So they can't come off the bench.
They can't.
Right.
That's a game misconduct. You will be suspended on your next game if you come off the bench to fight. Because in the olden days, people will come off the bench.
Okay.
People will come off the bench and just start grabbing people and fighting. That's called a Donnybrook, and that's a city in Ireland. I've been to that city in Ireland too. And Donnybrooks are not allowed anymore.
Okay.
But in the olden days, Philadelphia Flyers, I think, did that where everyone's just like punching anyone who moved, you're gonna get punched.
Okay. So what if all of the players on the ice are fighting one another? Then
If
what happens?
then, I mean, they're not gonna call the game every time. The one we
No,
did,
no, no. I'm saying, but
then
I've
everyone
seen.
would get 5 minutes.
But then do they bring a whole new set of players onto the
Yeah,
ice?
yeah,
Oh.
all those would be out for 5 minutes,
So they just
maybe
fill up the
more.
penalty.
Yeah, the penalty box can get full sometimes. You just find a seat. I think it's priority. Like if you're the star player, they're going to give you the bench because there's a little bench in there or something, like a couple chairs sometimes.
It's
Otherwise, you're going
priority
to be
seating.
standing or
It's
sitting on the
priority
ground.
seating.
Yeah, it
After.
is priority seating. Hmm.
That's kind of ridiculous.
This term is still getting me that I can't think of that term.
I don't know. It's not game misconduct.
I mean, no, it's 5 minutes for. It's not
Five for
encouragement.
fighting.
No, that's five for fighting. That's a
Yeah,
band, right?
it is a
Yeah,
band.
and
Five for
that's
fighting is a
hockey
band. Yeah.
because five for fighting. That's the rule.
It is a band.
No, I'll think of it probably when this is over. 'Cause we're almost over, right?
I we've talked about so much. Like there is so much information here. If you have been watching hockey since birth, like some of our Canadian listeners, I'm sure you're half asleep right now.
If you
Because
made it
you're
this
like,
far, we
yeah,
commend you
yeah,
because seriously,
to the
you learned
end.
nothing on this
Good
episode.
for you. Yeah, because there's
But new fans are loving this.
well, and I think that that's the most important thing is that I feel like we got the basics down. I mean, we didn't talk about overtime, which is it's a whole. I mean, the thing is that overtime is if the game is tied at the end, we should talk about this really quick before we end. Okay, so just because we need to get through the entire game. So if the game is tied at the end of the game, it goes into a 5 minute overtime
During the
during
regular
regular
season,
season.
goes to 5 minute overtime. 5 minute sudden death. So if anyone scores, it's over.
And is it 3-on-3?
It's 3 on 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go down to three skaters on each side for 5 minutes, and then whoever scores first wins.
Mhm.
Now, if it's still tied after that 5 minute overtime, then in regular season, we go to a shootout.
Yes.
And the shootout is different in the PWHL than it is in the NHL.
Is it 7 shots in the PWH?
I believe
I
so.
believe it is. It's 5 in the NHL.
Yeah. So it's 7. I don't, let's not do, we did this before and
Yeah.
we got it
I think
wrong.
Brian corrected us.
Anyway, we got it wrong. But there's each team has the opportunity to
skate in,
to
like a
skate in,
penalty shot.
but it's each one is taken by a different player, right?
Well, I don't know the PWHL's rules. The NHL, it has to be a different skater.
A different skater each time.
Until everyone has tried it once. It might have changed the last year, but I don't remember.
Right. So in the NHL where there's 5 penalty shots, it's the first team that makes it to 3.
No. It's 5 penalty shots.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
whoever-
because they go one and then they go to the other.
Right.
Right. Oh, they don't.
Yeah, they go
back,
one
sorry.
and the other, and after 5, if somebody has more than the other, then it's over. If you're tied at that point, then you keep
Just
going.
until
In pairs, you keep going in pairs. So if it's 5 and you've got 5 each, then the next person goes up. If they score, then okay, you score. If the other team scores, you go again. If the other team doesn't
Yeah.
score, you win.
right.
Yeah.
So that's regular season play, which I think is really important to understand because in the
Playoffs.
playoffs, I'm like, what, postseason? What is it called? Is it called
It's a
postseason?
postseason, yeah,
Okay.
but it's the
In the
playoffs.
that doesn't happen anymore. It
No.
is regulation play, 20-minute overtime,
Full intermission.
full intermissions. And this is significant because this is actually, there's been one game, I think 2 seasons ago that went to 3 overtimes and then one
I think it went to the 4th overtime.
no, that was last season.
Yeah.
That last season went to the 4th overtime.
Yeah,
So
which is like into the third game.
Yeah.
Because 3 overtimes is a whole
Whole
nother
game.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the difference with that is the 100% difference. It's because what do you say that during the regular season you want to go home and you want to be done? Like
you gotta go home.
you gotta go home.
You gotta go home. Kids
You
gotta go to school
gotta go to
tomorrow.
school tomorrow. That's it. Like we gotta get the game over with. So
Yeah.
that's why the rule is different. But during the playoffs, it's
Way back when they didn't even have a shootout. You went to overtime. If nobody scored, you just each person.
And
got-
is it sudden death 20-minute, or is it you play the whole thing?
Oh no, it's sudden death.
Oh, it's sudden
Sudden
death
death
stuff.
in
Oh,
the
yeah,
playoff.
okay. It's
Oh,
sudden
yeah,
death.
yeah, yeah.
But you do 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, That's a
That's
lot.
the whole game.
That's okay. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I feel like that's a good primer for people. And
We
hey,
missed a lot.
oh, I'm sure we did, but that's, I don't like, again, I don't think we need to do this exhaustively because this is already a really much longer episode than we normally do, which is,
We might even split it in two.
no,
If it's
we're not
we're
going to split it
not.
in two.
Do we talk for an hour? Do we talk for an
I
hour?
don't know if we talk for an hour or not, but I already know that there's not a good place to stop in the middle
Okay,
of all
that's
this. So
true.
we're not gonna split it
All
into
right.
two. But what I was gonna say is that if you come to a PWHL game, we are at the back of section 7,
Come sit
and
by
you are
us.
welcome to come sit by us and hang out, and Patty will talk your ear off during the hockey
We
game.
have to get bar seats.
Okay, so that's not an option this
I
season.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our little beef with, we would really like love to sit in the bar seats, which are behind the regular seats, but they were not available this season, so hopefully they will be next season. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. That's our episode. That was a lot.
That was a lot this time, but it was good. So if you're a newbie, I hope that helped. Let us know if you have more questions. Thank you to our TikTok friend who suggested this. I think it's a
Yeah.
good suggestion. I'll call this like the hockey primer or hockey 101 or something like that, so people can find the episode a little easier. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. And that's the show. Tune in next time for another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.